Hello everyone, Amod here from the Target Common YouTube channel, and in this video tutorial we are going to learn about another important method provided by Selenium WebDriver called getCSSValue. Let's understand the use case in which we can use this method. We are at the login page of a test application. On this page we have a login button with blue background and white font, and if you want to check the background color or font size we need a way. If we inspect this login button, we can see a class is associated with this login button, and right hand side under the styles tab you can find that class name, and within this class name we have three properties: font weight, color, background color. So these properties are CSS properties. CSS stands for cascading style sheet, and that can be used to style the web element. That means the background color, font size, font height, alignment, etc. can be managed using CSS properties. If you see here, we have a property background color and value is blue. Whatever value we see here, this is in hexadecimal. You can change the value by clicking on this color icon and you can select any value. So you can see the background color of login button is changing. Similarly, we have font, weight, color, etc. We can have many CSS properties for a web element. Here I've created one HTML web page, and if I open this page into Chrome and inspect this element also has a class example element, and you can see I have so many properties for this element like width, height, etc. Let's review the official documentation about this method. So we have a method getCSSValue. It takes the CSS property name and it will return the value in string. It says that get the value of given CSS property. Color values could be returned at RGBA or RGB strings. This depends on whether the browser omits the implicit opacity value or not. So when we inspected any web element to see the color, you can see it is in hexadecimal format, or if you fetch the value of this background property, then it is not going to return me in hexadecimal format, but it is going to return in RGBA format, which is red, green, blue and opacity. So RGB and hexadecimal are two different ways of representing colors in digital systems. RGB is an additive color model where colors are created by mixing different intensities of red, green and blue, while hexadecimal color codes are a compact way of representing RGB color values using base 16 notation. So if you go to any website where hexa numbers can be converted to decimal, and here we have FFCC00. So first two will be for red, another two will be for green, and last two will be for blue. So let's type FF, click on convert, it is giving 255. So when we do the get CSS value for this background, I'm going to get 255 with other values. If you convert remaining two here like CC and 00. We'll see the examples now so you will be clear. Now let's read the another paragraph which is more important. Note that the shorthand CSS properties like background, font, etc. are not returned in accordance with the DOM CSS2 specification. You should directly access the longhand properties like background color to access the desired value. So let's understand about longhand and shorthand in CSS. So in CSS, shorthand and longhand both are used to write CSS properties. Longhand CSS involves explicitly specifying each individual property separately, but shorthand CSS allows you to specify multiple related properties in a shorter form. Let's see the example. Here we have a class .example longhand, and here we have multiple CSS properties like background color, background image, repeat, position, size, and for each property we have a value. So this is longhand format where we are specifically mentioning every property name and the value. Next one is the shorthand example, and here we are using the key background only, and for the value we are passing multiple values separated using white space. So all these individual values will be automatically assigned to these properties here, like first value will belong to background color, next background image, and etc. So if you use background property name with the get CSS value method, then you are going to get these many values. But if you want to get the specific value, like what is the background color or what is the background image, then we need to use the specific longhand CSS property. If your developer has used this shorthand, then also you can pass the longhand name and you can get the exact value. Now let's see the example, then it will be more clear to you. So I'm going to load the HTML page in a browser and I'm going to use the class name as the locator, and let's fetch simple CSS property value first, like width. So I'm going to write chrome diver dot find element by dot path. Sorry, it will be class name. Pass the class name, and here we have a method get CSS value and pass the property name, which is width. This is going to return you a string value, and let's print it. Let me run it quickly and see the output. So it is returning 200 pixels, and if you see in the CSS, it is 200 pixels only. Let's see the example of a CSS property which has a hexadecimal value, like background color. In this HTML web page, if you expand this, you can find all these property name here, which are longhands, like full names of the CSS properties. And here we have a background color. But in the login page of this website, they are using the longhand property name only. You can see background color. So let's try to call CSS value method on these properties and see the output. So I have already loaded the HTML web page, and here instead of width, I'm going to pass background. Let me run this program and see the output. So you can see we are seeing a very big value for the background property. From where it is coming? So after expanding the background shorthand property name, we see so many CSS longhand properties. So these values are of these properties. So if you don't assign value to any property in the shorthand format, then remaining property will take the default value or initial value. That's why you see the initial. And when we use background with the get CSS value, it is going to give you everything. So if you want to get the specific value of any CSS property, then we need to pass the longhand name. That means instead of background, use the background hyphen color, which is the longhand name to retrieve the background color. So this time I should get only this much. Let me quickly rerun and see. So here you can see we are getting background color in RGBA format, and in the HTML web page, background color has this value only 255 2040, and here we have one which is opacity. Now let's try to fix the background color of this login button. So update the URL, and here also I am going to use the class name locator, and here I am passing the longhand property name background color. Let me quickly run and see the output. So here also we are getting into RGBA format, and here we have in hexa format. So your developer can use any format. Now you might be thinking, when we get the RGBA value, how can we assert it with the expected? So either you can pass this expected, or you can convert this RGBA to hexadecimal and assert it. Now you can ask how to convert that. So you need to write a logic to fetch the value from this RGBA format, and then we need to create an object of color class which is coming from Java AWT package, and in the constructor we need to pass those values. First one will be red, so pass 30. Another one will be 96, which is green. Then blue is 152. And in the integer class we have a method to hex string and pass color, which is the object name dot get RGB, which is returning you an integer. Let me store this into a string value, which will be actually hexa value, and if I print this hexa variable, then I should get the same hexa value whatever we see in HTML page. So now we see the output FF1E1698, and here we have 1E1698. So when we convert RGBA to hexa, so first two digits will belong to opacity. So here we can remove them using the substring. So call substring method and start from index 2. So it will ignore first two characters of this string, and this time I should get the exact value whatever we have in website. So this time we are getting the 1E1698, which is exactly here. If you pass any CSS property which does not exist, let's see what it returns in that case. So I'm going to pass some random property name, and let me comment all these lines and run the program. So you can see it had returned the empty string if you pass a CSS property which does not exist. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.